Did you know that loneliness can increase your risk of early death by nearly 30%? That's more than smoking. And yet many people are making this mistake daily without even knowing it. Most people believe aging after 80 is just about luck, genetics, or maybe what you eat. But the truth is, it often comes down to 5 silent habits, things you stop doing without even noticing. These habits aren't dramatic, they don't cause sudden illness, but over time they slowly drain your energy, your clarity, and your will to keep going. If you're over 60, this video might be your early warning and your path to getting back what matters most. So stay with me. We'll uncover 5 quiet dangers that could be shortening your life and what to do instead. And if you're new here, hit subscribe because it's never too late to feel alive again. Let's start with one habit that looks like wisdom, but actually makes your body forget how to stay strong. 1. The safety trap that weakens your body. It often starts with something small. A slip on the stairs, a wobble on the sidewalk. Nothing broken, just a scare. And then you begin pulling back. You stop taking your morning walks. You avoid bending down to tie your shoes. You choose the elevator even when you used to take the stairs. People around you call it being careful. They mean well, but soon your days grow still. Frank, 81, from Tucson, was once an early riser. Every morning he walked a mile before breakfast, but after one rainy day slip outside his front porch, he got spooked. "I'll skip today," he said. "Then just until next week." Then it became months. By the time his daughter visited 6 months later, Frank needed help getting out of his recliner. His legs felt like rubber. His back ached. He hadn't been injured. He'd just stopped moving. Here's the truth. He didn't stop walking because he was weak. He became weak because he stopped walking. You see, your body doesn't preserve strength by resting. It preserves strength by using it. Muscles shrink when ignored. Balance fades when not challenged. Even your core, those deep trunk muscles that keep you steady, will atrophy if left unused. And the worst part? Once the habit of stillness sets in, it becomes normal. You sit more, you rest longer, you do less. And slowly, you start believing you can't do more, but you can. No, you don't need to run marathons, you don't need to climb mountains, but you do need to move, even if it's just 10 minutes of walking or lifting soup cans in your kitchen, because motion reminds your body it's still needed. It keeps the systems online, your heart, your circulation, even your brain. It tells your muscles, stay ready. It tells your balance, stay sharp. And most importantly, it tells you you're still in charge. So ask yourself today, have you pulled back from something you once enjoyed just to stay safe? And what would it feel like to take one small step back toward it? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. But movement isn't the only thing we quietly lose with age. The next habit slips away so slowly we barely notice until the silence becomes overwhelming. 2. Losing touch. Losing life. How small social moments keep you alive. You don't need a house full of friends to feel alive, but you do need connection. Not the deep heart-to-hearts, though those are beautiful. I'm talking about the little ones, the "How are you today?" from the barista. The nod to your neighbor walking the dog. The small talk with the woman in the checkout line. These brief moments don't feel important until they're gone. Alice, 84, used to walk to her local grocery store every Wednesday. She'd chat with the cashier named Linda. They'd talk about the weather, the grandkids, what was on sale, nothing deep, just familiar. Then her son signed her up for grocery delivery to save her time. She hasn't seen Linda or anyone outside her family face to face in weeks. Now Alice spends most of her mornings in silence. The house is quiet. The phone barely rings. And something in her feels dimmer. Science backs it up. Microsocial interactions activate the parts of your brain tied to attention, memory, and emotional regulation. These tiny exchanges reduce stress hormones and remind your nervous system you belong. Without them, the brain begins to shrink its social network, literally. Your mind becomes quieter, slower, even foggier. It's not just loneliness, it's a neurological decline. Think of it this way, your brain is a social organ, and like any organ, it needs stimulation to stay strong. The smile from a stranger, the brief eye contact with a clerk, even hearing your name said aloud, these aren't just pleasantries, they're proof that you still matter. And here's the good news, you don't need a crowd, you just need consistency. Say hello to the mail carrier, wave to the same neighbor each day, go to the same coffee shop once a week, and talk to the barista. These small rituals give your brain rhythm and your spirit anchoring. Because when you feel seen, you remember you're still part of something bigger. And that memory can be powerful medicine. What's one little social moment you used to enjoy that's gone missing from your routine? We'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments below. Even if you keep moving and stay connected, there's something else your body depends on every day: light. But when that light gets out of sync, your whole system starts to drift. 3. When light lies to your body. The sleep mood, connection. There's a clock inside your body. You can't see it, but it controls everything. When you eat, when you feel tired, how your brain repairs itself, even how well your immune system fights off illness. And after 60, this clock, your circadian rhythm, becomes more sensitive than ever. The problem is, many seniors don't realize they're throwing it off every single day. It often begins in winter. You stop going outside as much. Mornings get slower. You turn on the TV and leave it on. Sometimes the lights in the house stay bright until midnight. You think, I'm just relaxing. But your brain thinks something's wrong. Your body was designed to follow natural light. Bright in the morning, dim in the evening. Morning light tells your brain to wake up, to focus, to energize. Darkness tells it to rest, repair, and release melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep deeply. When this pattern gets disrupted even by a little, the results are subtle but serious. You might start falling asleep in the afternoon, waking up too early, feeling groggy even after 8 hours in bed. Mood swings, memory fuzziness. That's not just aging, it's your rhythm being out of rhythm. Paul, 83, didn't think much of it. He'd watch the news until midnight and wake up exhausted. Then he started waking up at 2 a.m., unable to fall back asleep. He felt tired, forgetful, and disconnected. His doctor didn't change his medication, he changed his light routine. Paul started sitting outside for 10 minutes every morning, even on cloudy days. He turned off screens an hour before bed and used soft lighting after dinner. Within 2 weeks, his sleep improved. So did his mood. So did his memory. Light, not pills. So what can you do? Try stepping outside within an hour of waking up. Let your eyes and skin feel that natural light. In the evening, dim the lights. Avoid screens right before bed. Your body isn't just getting older, it may just be confused. And sometimes the simplest shift, like light, can bring everything back into balance. But even with movement, connection, and rest, there's one more habit that works quietly, from the inside out. It's not physical, it's emotional, and it's one of the heaviest burdens we carry. 4. The weight of unspoken grief. Why emotions must be released. By the time you reach 80, chances are you've lost someone, a partner, a sibling, a friend, maybe even a child. And yet, many seniors carry that grief in silence. Not because they don't care, but because they've learned to keep going. They put on a brave face, say, "I'm doing fine." But the truth is, the body keeps score. When grief isn't spoken, it doesn't disappear. It settles into the nervous system. It changes your breathing. It dulls your appetite. It weighs on your sleep. And over time, it can dim the spark that once made you feel like yourself. Harold, 86, was always the jokester in his family. He lost his best friend last year, someone he'd known since high school. He didn't talk about it, said he was okay, said he was grateful for the memories. But his laughter faded. He stopped going to the senior center. He started sleeping more, eating less, and barely left the house, not because of illness, but because his sorrow had no place to go. And this isn't rare. When we don't give grief a voice, it doesn't stay quiet. It whispers through our fatigue, through our back pain, through the dull ache we can't quite name. But here's the hope. What gets expressed can be transformed. It doesn't mean talking to everyone. It can be a journal, a support group, a trusted friend, a prayer, a therapist. The form doesn't matter, the release does, because the heart needs space to feel, and the body needs space to breathe. You don't have to grieve loudly, but you do have to grieve honestly. If your days have grown heavier, if your shoulders feel lower than they used to, ask yourself, is there something I've been holding in simply because I didn't know where to put it? It's not weakness to feel sorrow, it's strength to let it move through you. Now we've explored movement, connection, rhythm, and emotional release. But there's still one final thread that ties it all together. The quiet sense of purpose that keeps us rising each morning. 5. The loss of daily purpose. And why the body waits for a reason. There's something most people don't realize about the body. It doesn't just keep going because it's strong. It keeps going because it believes it has a reason. And after 80, it's not illness that often slows us down. It's the slow fading of purpose. Not the big philosophical kind, the small, daily kind, feeding the birds, watering the garden before the sun gets too hot, calling your niece every Sunday, reading one chapter before bed. These little rituals, these anchors, give the day shape. Without them, time starts to blur. The days feel empty, and the body responds with stillness, a kind of quiet giving up. Margot, 87, used to host a weekly book club. It wasn't fancy, just 4 women from the neighborhood, a pot of tea and paperback novels. But when one member passed away and another moved into assisted living, the group stopped meeting. Margot said she was fine, but her daughter noticed the change. She stopped wearing lipstick. She stopped writing in her journal. She spent most afternoons staring out the window. Then her daughter had an idea. "Mum, why don't you record yourself reading your favorite stories? We can turn it into a podcast." Margot laughed, but she tried it. Now, every Friday, she records a 10-minute story. She prints them out, edits them with a red pen. And when she presses record, her voice is strong again. Her eyes light up. Her hands move with purpose. That's the power of daily meaning. Your body listens to your mind. And when your mind believes the day matters, your whole system responds. Appetite returns, energy rises, memory sharpens. It doesn't have to be grand, just has to be consistent. So ask yourself, what gives your day shape? What little thing could you return to, not because you must, but because it brings rhythm, because the body stays alive as long as it feels needed. And being needed, even by something as small as a plant or a letter, can keep your heart beating stronger than any medicine. So now that you've seen all 5 habits, what will you do differently starting today? Aging doesn't take us down in one day. It happens in the quiet. In the movement we stop. The connections we skip. The rhythms we lose. The feelings we bury. The purposes we forget. But just as it fades quietly, life can return quietly too. One walk, one conversation, one stretch of morning light, one reason to get out of bed. So which of these 5 habits felt familiar to you? And what small thing will you reclaim today? Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear it. And if this touched you, subscribe and share it with someone who matters. If you woke up today, your story isn't over. Let's make this chapter count, because your next chapter deserves to feel full.